What is up guys, WOOO here, back again with another Division 2 video. Welcome back. Today's video I want to talk about the Division 3. I know it's not been announced yet, but it's something that I feel will be on the topic or on the end of everyone's lips because, yes guys, the lack of content is really frustrating now. It is so piss poor and I feel there is nothing this year for the Division 2. We're going to get Heartlands and we're going to get XDefiant, and then next year there must be some kind of announcement on the Division 3. So, what would you like it to be? PvE only or PvE and PvP? Now, this is what you guys have said. 54% of the community wanted to be PvE only, and 46% of the community wanted to be PvE and PvP, both Division 1, Division 2 style. Now, this is, of course, an interesting topic, an interesting debate, and I'd love to hear your comments in the comments section. I'd love to hear that, because I know there's going to be some people defending PvP and people defending PvE. So again, keep it friendly, keep it sporting, keep it gentlemanlike. Make sure you comment below. And let's, as always guys, let's woo this. Now the first comment I want to go through is this one. This is from Andy Price. They've proved they can't get the balance both right. Have a separate PvP division game, which is Heartlands and XDefiant. They have PvE Division 3. You can even make it so your character can be used in PvP game and that game unlocks are available. And Andy, thank you very much for your comment, sir. Now, this is going to, again, split the player base in two, this comment. And I'd love to hear people's opinions on this. Now, what Andy has got right is Division 1, Division 2, they have struggled from day one, the get-go, to get this balance aligned. It has never happened. It has always been a consistent struggle. And again, people, and the common denominator is, what I'm going to do, I'm going to grind PvE as hard as I can to get the right PvP gear set, and then that's it, happy days. Which is not what I do, but I understand that that's what, again, a proportion of the player base do to play PvP. And again, one thing you have to take into consideration is a huge amount of people who play Division 2 only play PvE. Do we want to see a PvE only game? And what Andy's basically saying is the balance has been wrong for so long now. Both games have been problematic. They're releasing Heartlands, which is PvE VP, which is very Division themed, and then we're getting XDefiant, which is a separate entity completely, but it has a Division skin with cleaners and wolves and all that bullshit. So it is going to be, again, there's going to be a touch to the Division with, again, a nice topping of Call of Duty. And then we have the Division 3, which I feel, I'm in agreement with Andy here, it will be PvE only. I do feel that. All the signs are pointing in that direction, because they've simply struggled consistently to make sure that there is balance. So I do see this happening, guys. I really do. I'd love to hear your thoughts below, guys, because that is the hot potato. PvE only Division 3, God, and that is going to piss off quite a few PvPers, but for me, I feel that could be the right way to go. Next one is Randy B. They need to be separated somehow so the devs have more control over the game. There's some mechanics that work better in PvE than PvP and vice versa. Of course, Randy, mate, firstly, thanks for the comment. Secondly, I do agree, and there needs to be some kind of segregation between the gear, the weapons, the skills, and all that shit. Problem is, there isn't. And if you go into any conflict game now, you know it's very toxic and it's very, very piss poor. In all fairness, I do it, I try it, and I just go away thinking, why have I wasted my time and energy playing this really piss poor mode of a PvP? I just don't like it at all. Then I go into the DZ, and that is imbalanced as they come, and it always has been. It always has been. And the one thing for me is you go back into Division 1, there were ways and means of countering these problems. And again, a lot of farmers that I used to know used to run a tactician build. What they would do is they would pick up a nomad build, and they would go something like a 9k stamina nomad build. So they're pretty much unkillable. So they could just farm to their heart's content, enjoy it, and yeah, when they do run into rogues, they have a hard time taking them down. But now we know you're going to run a skill build in the DZ on your own, you are dead meat very, very quickly. And that's not just the players, the NPCs also. It's a different kettle of fish. And I do feel, again, that balance has never been there. And I really struggle to believe it will be there throughout the lifetime of the Division 2. The gear needs to be separate. I think once it's separate, I do feel it will be much more balanced and more enjoyable, and you have a choice of what you want to do, and that's all about this game, The Division. It doesn't have to push you into one direction. You don't have to PvE to PvP. You can PvP if you want to. Get a build with PvP only gear. That's how I feel. But guys, as always, let me know below in the comment section what you feel you'd like to see. Samage 3118 sounds like a nice sandwich, buddy. Lack of PvP has ruined The Division, and guys, listen, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be brutally honest. I mean, if anyone's followed this channel from the get-go, you would know my videos initially were DZ, PvP, Division 1 videos. That's what I would do, and I would have so much fun creating off-meta, fun builds, final measure, Predator's Mark, and just kind of make a nice amalgamation of really good stuff, Firecrest Tactician, make it useful, make builds viable. As soon as I stepped into the DZ Division 2, I knew this is not for me at all. Just did not like it whatsoever. And I really enjoyed, may I add, enjoyed the PvE element. It's fun, and it still continues to be fun. Whereas the PvP is so unbalanced, it is not my cup of tea at all. And that's why there is a very small player base for PvP. Unfortunately, due to the balancing issues, these are the problems. This is what you have. It's a shame because I want PvP in this game to succeed and to thrive. Unfortunately, it won't, and it never will in The Division 2. And that's where my head's at, and I don't see that changing. Prove me wrong, guys, prove me wrong. Our next comment is Peeling Banana. PvP is endgame stuff, surely. I'm embarrassed to say I'm watch level 3052 and I still get butchered in the DZ sometimes. You need a PvE part to get yourself prepared for a proper fight. And without it we'd lose raids or incursions, which I preferred, to be honest. Now again, this is the common denominator. People believe this is I have to smash out PvE intensely to find this PvP endgame build, and when they do go into endgame PvP, when they do go into DZ, they get absolutely obliterated and wonder why. And again, you'll look at it, is PvP is not easy. It's not easy to pick up and play. It's not like putting a skill build out there and just solo and heroic. It's not like that at all. It takes a lot of skill to PvP, and in all honesty, it's far better and far easier in a group. And a lot of people go there solo and get absolutely annihilated and go, I don't like this. And these are non-PvP players. And again, what people tend to do above this kind of 3,000-4,000 watch level, and even before that, who don't PvP, they kind of go into the DZ knowing that it's set to a particular brand set, a particular piece of gear. Hollow mask, that's what I'm after. Death grips, that's what I'm after. And they will be, again, kind of shoehorned in, forced in to a degree. They have to, again, PvP and try and find these particular sets of gear pieces for them to be rocking and rolling for a build in PvE. And again, whether you believe that to be correct or not, that's pretty much how it is. I'm a believer you shouldn't have to PvP in any game. If you enjoy PvE, you should enjoy PvE only. And again, people will bring certain games to attention, let's say Outriders, let's say Anthem, but they're two very separate games. Now, Outriders, we know the Outriders player base absolutely shot up through the roof very, very quickly, but once the balancing, the continual bugs, the player base started to dwindle to not very many. But the nucleus was there, and the draw was there, the lure of the game was there. But what the game needs is content. And it's as simple as that. And with something like The Division 3, as an example, if it is PvE only, it needs a raft of content to keep players coming back for more replayable content. If you remember Division 1, Resistance was replayable content. Underground was replayable content. And this is what the game needs. Survival, again, even though it's PvE VP, it's still replayable content, which The Division 2, other than the actual missions and the manhunts, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of replayable content in the game. The raids are, and again, what a lot of people do now, what a lot of people do in my clan, when they do play the game, they play for the raids. They do not farm the DZ for better PvP gear because they don't PvP, they want to raid. And that is the primary function of a lot of players now. Once they've done everything in the game, PvE wise, they want to raid. They want the best, hardest, most difficult content, and the raid is the most lucrative. And of course, Eagle Bearer, can I have one, and all that jazz. So guys, what I'm saying is, I do want to see a Division 3 that is balanced. I do want to see it where there's PvE and PvP. Of course I do. I'm the optimist, but also I'm a realist. And I do feel with X-Defiant, and then we have Heartlands coming, are we going to get a PvE only division? And it looks like that may be the case, so they can consistently focus on balancing for PvE only in one said game. And it may be a lot easier, with that being said. Let's go to another comment. Let's take a look at this one. This is JD. They still need to still need to include both PvE and, I'm guessing it's PvP, but rather than nerf things, they need to increase the power of other things to compete, because every time they nerf something, it becomes useless rather than viable. Take LMGs for example, useful prior to Gear 2.0, useless after they nerf them in Gear 2.0. Same happens to rifles with a baker's dozen, etc. I understand, man. Who runs two entire classes of weapons now in PvP? That's not balance. Yes, mate, there is a huge imbalance. The problem is, if you're going to, again, boost everything, if you're going to give everything a real good buff, what's going to happen? Your player is going to become overpowered. Your skills, your weapons, your gear are OP, which makes all the content too easy. You fly through, for example, legendary content solo with your eyes closed. And again, doing that solo is a feat in itself now. It is one hell of a feat. So you can imagine doing that with your hands tied behind your back, because you are overpowered, you are one-shotting NPCs. So yeah, there has to be that balance. There has to be. Now, I'm a believer, if something needs nerfing, it is overpowered. Simple. But there needs to be a revision of the complete archetype of rifles, the archetype of LMGs, to make them, again, give them that little percentage buffs here and there to make sure they're viable in all aspects of the game. So it is not an easy task. I understand your frustration, JD, I get it completely. But you got to understand, we're in a position where if you buff things consistently, there has to be a nerf. There has to be a stop somewhere to make this content playable and challenging, because that's what we want, is challenging. We don't want to wipe everything through easily, consistently, because we were bored of the content and you'd move to a different game very, very quickly. But JD, I'm with you, man. I completely understand this. Then we have the last one, that is Tetsuo Douglas. Tetsuo, the main man. Why not create two games? This way the developers can focus on talents, skills that work best in each game type. Again, a very on the fence comment that's gonna cause a little bit of a stir, because we know why. Two games gonna drop. I don't see that happening. In terms of talents and skills and weapons, I do feel, again, because of the segregation between, we have a Heartlands game, we have a Defiant game coming out as well, they will be your PvP focus, and then PvE only, Division 3. That's how I see it in my mind. Again, I may be wrong, guys. I truly may be wrong, but that's how I can see it focused, because the balance will be better. And the team continually starts to dwindle. The Division massive guys. We're even advertising now for apparel artists for the rest of the year. What the fuck is that all about? Which just indicates there's nothing happening for the Division 2. And there's a very, very small team. Or unless they pulled all that team away to work on something called the Division 3. So, I'm on the fence, guys. I really need your input. Again, I'd love there to be PvE and PvP, but I don't want to be in that same position that we always tend to be in with these games, is that we get there, we get both, and one of them screwed, and the other one pays the price, and then what happens? The player base continues to moan and gripe and groan, and that's how it works, and then people get pissed off, and people leave the game, and that's why. I understand PvP is an important part of the Division 1 and 2. I understand that completely. But if it's going to be broken and it's going to be screwed and there's been no balance, I'd rather there be no PvP in Division 3, because it ruined my experience for the Division 2. Guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts below. This is going to be an interesting one. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.